of my capacity as a board member, I have the opportunity to nominate speakers for this series. And I've nominated a dear friend of mine and frankly, a remarkable human being, Joe Lonsdale. He's a graduate from Stanford, where I'm on faculty, but after leaving Stanford, he really got to work. He started Palantir, Adapar, OpenGov, 8VC, Affinity, Esper, Anduin, Zenbato, and I'm pretty confident if we kept digging, we would find a lemonade stand or even a paper route that was highly successful from his youth. The guy just knows how to build things from scratch. And ultimately, as we're about to enter a technologized era of investing, I thought it'd be fantastic to invite Joe and have a conversation about how you actually build technology, especially build technology for difficult industries such as pension funds. Joe, welcome.
Thanks, Ashby. Great to be here.
Awesome to have you. If we went looking for the 2 or 3 things in your life or your past to define Joe Lonsdale's attribution of performance, what would those things be?
The 2 high-level really key things that we're doing is, 1, we're looking for conceptual gaps in the world. So we're saying, here's how this industry works right now, and here's how it should work. And you have to, it requires having an opinion. It requires being able to judge things. It requires having an objective framework from which you view the world. A lot of people are all kind of relativistic these days. You actually have to be willing to have an objective framework, which I'm told is against, it's against how you're supposed to do things in academia. But you have to say, like, this is fundamentally broken and it's stupid compared to what's possible. So you have those kind of views, and those views tend to come out of understanding technology, understanding processes and industries, understanding like cultural issues that block things, and seeing, okay, here's why this hasn't happened, which you've seen in a lot of big institutions and whatnot. So 1, it's finding those gaps, and then 2, it's you have to be able to attract the most talented people to equity-driven cultures where they feel like owners and can work to go after those gaps together in a very persistent way, where they're being guided by the right people who know how to build startups. And so you have the most talented people going after the biggest gaps, and you're persistent, you do it in the right direction. It turns out you could build like tens of valuable companies with those 2 things combined. What we're doing fundamentally is every time we're building it, we're fixing something. We're fixing the world. We're taking something broken and making it work better. And and there's a lot of traditions, a lot of religious traditions, like in Tikkun Olam, my mom's side who's Jewish, is like your duty is to fix the world, to take broken things and fix them. And so building companies is a great way to do that.
Yeah, I can see that. The wild thing about your company building is you often go after industries that I would say people see as hard target industries, government, finance, where the kind of hegemony of the established players is much more difficult, or at least seems more difficult to overcome.
These industries are great because they're very hard to get into, but if you can get into them, by virtue of being so hard to get into, there's lots of stuff that's broken. It's not being done nearly as well. Like if every good engineer in the world could build a new process for your pension, you could bet that there'd be like tons of awesome things already happening there. If it's really hard to get in and do it, it's kind of like if you can like get the animal onto the Galapagos Islands, it's not supposed to be there. It's going to eat everything and outcompete everything because they didn't evolve to deal with it, right? So it's like there's these parts in the world where if you get into them, it's very powerful. You can do a lot. You can be a lot better than what's there.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, pension funds sit at the base of capitalism with, $120 trillion around the world. We need these organizations to function effectively in capitalism. So
it's very important that the whole world works better if pension funds are smarter and bolder and more courageous in how they do things. That is right.
Exactly. I think the holy grail here is this concept of like mass customization of portfolios by really understanding where an investor is and where they're going. And then the ability to like drop product in there. Does that kind of resonate with you?
Makes sense. And I think the ability to get context on what others are doing and to be able to build trust. You have to still do your own diligence, but you need to use the information from the network to understand. Like if you to be able to understand, I mean, there's just basics. Let's say you're really bullish on Sequoia Menlo Park and you're bullish on the Renaissance Medallion Fund, and you see that there's 50 LPs from those 2 places that are invested in these 6 other things. You might want to see what those 6 other things are. And you might want to understand, and just being able to have context and network and being able to share diligence and share information and just know what's going on. I think we're kind of in the Stone Age is how this all works right now.
the irony of today is that it's June 15th as we're recording this. And if you opened up the Wall Street Journal this morning, you'll see that Adipar is now a $2.2 billion company, and they announced today a $150 million fundraise. So it's clear to me this company is about to take off and move into a new trajectory.
It's going well. I think Palantir is worth 40 or 50 billion dollars. So we have our work cut out for us to catch up. But I think if we pass them maybe in 7 or 8 years, that'd be pretty satisfying. You know, we could.
Well, Joe Lonsdale, thank you so much for joining us for this brief session. It is the lead-in. I'll go back to the audience here. This is the lead-in to the World Pension Summit in The Hague, and we hope that you'll see this and you'll want to come join us live, and maybe we'll be able to actually raise a glass together and have a drink. With that, I'll turn it back to the organizers.
Thanks, Ashby.